Hi, I'm Libby Kavalakis. Welcome to Libby Means Business, the podcast for everything about your business and your mindset. Today, we have a very special guest, not just a regular Florida man, but we have Bill Rodowski. And for over 3 decades, Bill has been a dedicated advocate for physical well being. As a seasoned physical therapist assistant and therapeutic yoga instructor, his passion lies in empowering individuals to achieve optimal mobility and pain free living. Bill's expertise extends beyond traditional physiotherapy, encompassing certificates in massage therapy and certified health coaching, providing a holistic approach to wellness. Bill's commitment extends beyond physical rehab. He actively educates individuals on pain management and strategies and preventative measures, empowering them to take control of their own health and well being. I'm so excited today to have Bill, who is a friend and one of my favorite Florida men, but also a Renaissance man. You're going to find out into your ability to take care of your business. Okay, so excited. Let's welcome Bill into the studio. Here he is, the man of the moment.
Hi, Libby.
Hey, Bill. How about you add a little bit to your introduction? I gave the, 30,000-foot overview, but there's so much more to your background and expertise that I think our audience wants to hear.
Well, you did a really great job. I really do, I've evolved. I have a degree in culinary arts and hotel restaurant management. That wasn't feeding my soul. And I just started volunteering one day for a physical therapy department in a children's hospital and thought, this is what I want to do. So I've been really blessed to have the universe kind of line up and support me in what I want to do. I've not been the best, business person having a 5-year plan for my life or a 10-year plan. I just have a plan to enjoy it and be the best person I can. And I've fallen into this great role as a physical therapist assistant and yoga teacher. And what my patients keep telling me is you're an educator as well, because I want people to not only understand what's going on, but to be able to find ways to incorporate those lessons I teach them into their lives. Because face it, the healthcare industry is getting harder and harder for us to use. There are millions of people that have insurance in their life, but they just can't afford to use it. So I try to offer people all of the tips and tricks that I teach my patients over the years to manage or avoid or eliminate their own pain.
That's
And
a
it's rewarding.
huge help. Some
Well,
people are getting older, not us, of course, but for the rest of the
no.
world that is aging, right?
And
um,
life is about enjoying your aging. And unfortunately, nobody teaches us about our bodies. Um, when I tell a patient about how to breathe properly for stress management or release, they're like, well, nobody ever told me I was supposed to breathe down into my belly. I breathe shallowly in my chest. Well, there's loads of reasons that's not a good idea. And it's the fact that they just don't know. So I almost feel like there's another book that I'm writing that's owner's manual to your body, little things like that I think of every day as just normal, but everybody else is like, I didn't know. How was I supposed to know?
how are you? Well, because that's not our healthcare system isn't really made for that, correct? It's more about being
No,
sick versus and being healthy.
it's sick care and not well care, and there's so much you can do. My biggest phrase that I tell my patients is it's much easier to avoid pain than it is to get rid of pain. I'll give you strategies for both, but let's work on avoiding pain. It's a difficult thing because one of the things I'm trying to wrap my brain around is preventive maintenance or medicine. But it's hard to get people to look at their lives and try to work on a problem they don't know they already have. I can tell you have a rotator cuff problem 5 years before you have a surgery by certain signs. Um, I recently did a talk at a business group, and I asked everyone in the audience if they had a 5-year business plan. Everybody raised their hand. 10-year business plan? Everybody raised their plan. I said, how about a 5-year plan for your body? Everybody looked at me like, well, what does that mean? You know, your
Yeah.
body is an investment. I mean, your business can't thrive if your body's not thriving. You don't have the energy to balance all these balls. But in my belief system, you get a foundation strong, foundation being health, happiness, then everything blooms from that, including your business.
You're absolutely correct. And one of the things, because I deal with both the business and the individual, is you have to be in game shape. If
Yeah,
you're worn
yeah,
out, tired, stressed, you're not going to perform optimally in your business. It's how you show up and how you present yourself out to the world to say, I'm here and I'm in
indeed,
control and I'm strong enough to handle
indeed.
this and I'm well enough to continue and have the perseverance and the energy to face a lot of the challenges that businesses do face. So that's a
Absolutely.
super
And there
important link.
there are
I'm glad you
many
spoke to business
drains on our
groups.
yes. Well, there's many drains on people's lives. And, I treat a lot of business people. Where my office is happens to be in a very business centered place. And I talk to these people and they're all overwhelmed, especially women in the business place. But I'm sorry, they still have to go home and take care of the house and the kids and cook the meals. No matter how, evolved we think we are, there's still a big part of that, there used to be that commercial, I can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan and never, never, never let you forget you're a man. Well, women have more than one job, and so there's lots of drains on your energy, is what my message is. And let's give you a couple of ways that are simple that you can use anywhere, at home, at your office, on vacation, or in the middle of a meeting, to try and like step back, regulate, and build your energy from a positive, strong foundation.
And um, you have a phenomenal website of resources, to the point where
Well, thank you.
exercises, your book is on there, your videos are on there, tips are on there. And for those who are just listening, www.body-guru.com will get you to Bill and his website and all of his social media. But most importantly, it'll give you an idea of some of the training he's talking about and the ease of some of these exercises that really do have significant upside to you. They're not hard to do and they're age appropriate for almost everybody, correct, Bill?
Yeah. Absolutely. I do have a population of, patients that are a lot older. I have patients in their 80s that come and take my yoga class because I tell them my yoga is more meditative than acrobatic. Um, it has to be accessible. I look at some of these things on Instagram. I'm like, I'm not sure I could do that. It's a great idea. It's a great way to target that muscle to get those hips moving, but it's got to be accessible as well. And my website is all of the things that I teach my patients. So if I tell my patient with a rotator cuff problem, do this exercise and that exercise, I say, look, I made a video. Just go watch it. It's free. It'll show you how to do it instead of reading this piece of paper that says A, B, C, D. Um, I learn by somebody giving me an example, so it's a good way for me to learn.
And that's amazing. That's how you know someone is truly an expert, such as yourself, that the knowledge just comes out of you. You're sharing it with the world because that's part of what your true mission is to educate people about wellness. And you're doing it on a lot of different fronts. You have your yoga videos and you have all of the movement and medicine type of preventative care strategies. Super important because you're such an expert in this. The knowledge just flows from you naturally and you hear it and you see it in the videos and just how much you care for people really comes through. And I think that makes people want to be involved with your videos and want to start doing some of these movements, which in reality are for their own best interest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Movement is medicine. And the thing that got me on this path was actually the pandemic. And I always believe in silver linings from these things, but no one was coming to my yoga class. So I started filming them myself, my partner, and my dog. And we started filming them and putting them on YouTube, or Facebook Live, I think it was. And I simply asked people to donate to a charity. I didn't ask people for money. I wanted to be of service and it felt good. And I wanted to give those people a chance to help somebody, because I think the psychology that you create around being of service is really empowering. It didn't cost me anything to go in there and do a yoga class. I was doing anyway. People love seeing my dog every week. In fact, she was the star. But it gave me an opportunity through motion, through yoga, to give people a chance to give to somebody else and do something else at the same time of building their own health. So, I mean, their own health. So I felt like I was serving their spirit and their body at the same time. And that really felt good. And that's when I started writing my book and really making an Instagram presence and Facebook and all the other myriad ways. But it was from a place of service and passion because I enjoy what I do. I'm very blessed that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the pandemic, a lot of great things have evolved. I mean, we really kind of got our heads on directly. It made us see more
Indeed.
clearly because all of the crutches and all of the distractions were taken away from us.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah,
It got real.
it got real. That's a great way to put it.
It got
Um,
real, real fast. Right.
we lived on the opposite coasts of Florida, but I remember just and which made it nice, right? We could both go outside, we could both sit around the pool, we could take a walk if we wanted to. It was very easy to be alone in a
Yeah,
sense because there were enough natural resources and just the weather permitted it. But
absolutely.
after a while, that connection to people started taking its toll. And I know on
Indeed.
myself, I actually moved back to Pittsburgh over the pandemic. I came back up here to visit my family and then decided just to move back because I was just alone in Florida. And I realized how much strain it had been being alone when I started watching some of your videos and started watching, joining different groups online. And that community really helped me get through a lot of different things.
And that's what
And
it's all about. I mean, you have to create the world that you want, whether it's in business with the energy you bring into it, or your body and your world. You know, we're responsible for our lives and making a sense of community, helping other people. It serves everybody. You get more than you give.
that it does. And you've taken something that, so in me aging gracefully, I guess, it's been 1 year since I had my knee replacement. And everything is absolutely perfect. And, I still do the exercises for my physical
Excellent.
therapy up here. Yeah, just because I made a commitment going into the surgery. This was going to be easy. I am going to be fully healed. Everything is going to
Great.
work out absolutely as I want it to. And it did. I didn't have any trouble. It was just a wonderful experience, as a matter of fact. Doesn't sound like
Excellent.
what would be a wonderful experience, but it truly was. But it
Yeah.
also got me really thinking about, hopefully that's the only replacement I have to have.
Yeah.
But
I've learned that
yeah.
lesson.
But it got me thinking about, I do have lower back pain. And I'll tell you why. I blame my sister. We were skiing out, we were doing spring skiing out west, and I'm a blue-green skier, meaning I don't need to go over moguls at 800 miles an hour. I like the windy,
Oh,
nice paths and, just picking up speed a little bit, but not too fast. Well, she decides we should all do these black moguls. And I'm like, this is crazy. I can't do them. I don't want to do them. Oh, you get bullied into doing it. And this was years ago, decades ago.
yeah.
Well, of course, I wipe out. My ski goes, one of my skis falls off. I'm spinning out of control over these bumps.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've had lower back pain. So I blame her.
It's
But
absolutely her fault.
there's a book I found that was so helpful to me. Um, The Happy Back Traveler. It's not necessarily for when your crazy sister messes up your back with ski injuries, but it is something that we're all starting to do again. And it is something that is one of those unknown injuries that it just make everything much more difficult. So do you want to talk a little bit about your book?
Yeah, I've been doing physical therapy, yoga, all this for over 30 years. And I find one of the biggest issues that I come against is fear of the unknown. So a lot of my patients would say to me, my back hurts. I'm supposed to go on this big trip. Should I cancel? I'm not sure I can get my money back. Well, right there, they've increased their back pain because the stress and worry is one of the number one exacerbators of pain. So I put together this book, and it's not necessarily just to travel. It's all the tips and tricks that I've taught my patients over 30 years to manage their own pain. So I put it in a little sections, and I came up with a little acronym, and it was HIMS, and it's for hydrate, invigorate, meditate, and mitigate. And those are the things that I try to teach people. Now, within each of those little categories, I tell them about hydrating. Well, why is it important to hydrate? So I am an educator. So it might get a little boring telling me about the discs and how they're a hydrostatic system. Or you can just read the part that says, those discs are made of water and they are a shock absorber. If they don't have the water in them, they can't absorb the shock. So what I did in this book was broke it up into those little categories and gave video demonstrations of all of my exercises, all of the techniques, and all of the products that I suggest to people. Now, I believe in the things that I suggest to people as products to purchase, but in most cases, I've tried to give free options as well, because I am the most frugal person you'll ever meet. So when I gave somebody an idea about a massager, I said, but you could take a tennis ball and put it in a sock and do the same thing. So it's just chock full of actionable ideas for while you're getting ready to travel. So preparation, just like your workplace. Would you have a good workplace if you did not prepare for the day or for your work plan? So there's preparation, and then there's what to do on the go while you're on that plane and your back is killing you. There's lots of little things you can do right there in that seat. And then the last part is about mitigation, trying to take care of any irritations that come, because my real passion in life is getting people to be able to do the things they love to do. My prognosis for most people that come to see me that are over the age of 40 is that they're going to have more good days than bad days, and bad days that don't stop them from doing what they want to do. And that's mostly because I give them strategies. The first thing people do in my office when they start feeling better is they go out and start cutting down their bougainvillea or getting pineapple palms down. I said, what are you doing? They said, well, I have to. I said, you're right. We have to pick up our kids. We have to, pet the dog. We have to wash our feet. Well, let's show you strategies to mitigate any pain that might come from that. So I actually surprised myself with this book. I am genuinely surprised how well it came out. But I really like the fact that you can just click on the word hamstring stretch and you'll get a video of me doing a hamstring stretch. So you can make sure that you're doing it correctly, and that it's an educational thing. So I'm really happy with the way it came out. It's my very first book, and I'm surprised.
Well, that's a wonder of ebooks, isn't it? That they're so interactive. And
Yeah,
if you want more, it's there. If you just need the top level, it's there. So the ebook
exactly.
grows with you as you learn more and want to delve deeper into anything. It's right there for
Yeah.
you.
And you can take it with you anywhere. If you're in Europe I just went to Portugal and I came home at the end of the day, and Lisbon, let me tell you right now, is hills upon hills.
Hills,
I came
yes.
home and my knees were aching, my back was aching. Well, I said, you know what? I just wrote this book. Let's practice some of those strategies. And that's what got me up the next day to be able to go out and get again. I would have hated to sat in my hotel room with back pain or knee pain and not been able to do anything about it. I opened up, I wrote the book. I didn't have to open up, but you could just open up your e-reader and there's the strategy you need. Click on it and you get a video.
Happy Back Traveler. Secrets physical therapists teach to keep you back pain free on the go. And you know what's crazy is we keep hearing these um, airlines are getting a bad rap as we all start to travel again. So they're
Mm,
crowded again. People are hoisting their overhead luggage, but the flight attendants won't help them get it up there. You have to
yeah,
rely on another passenger to help you lift it. And just the almost not wanting to the refusal to check a bag, right? Because now it's become expensive to check a bag. It takes so long to
yeah,
get it. So we're carrying on more, which is more weight to be pulling around. It's all
exactly.
one big circle for us. Nothing is independent of itself. So having a healthy back and being able to manage the aches and mitigate the aches
Yeah.
will keep us all very active going forward.
And that's what we want. We want to be able to do the things we love to do, whether it's travel or picking up your grandchild. People say, "Can I ride my bike?" I said, "I want you to do whatever it is you want to do, but I also want to give you the strategies to keep that from being a problem." And that's what I've tried to put into this book. It's 30 years of my life, and it just flowed out of me, like you said at the beginning. Luckily, I knew this stuff. It didn't take me going to the computer and having to do years of research. I know this stuff inside and out, and I was happy to be able to present it out there in the world.
That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So if
Thank
you
you.
could walk us through maybe like what are a couple of the key things some of us desk jockeys can do during the day? What can I be doing while I'm sitting here? I don't sit for hour after hour. I know better than that because
Right.
I've listened to you. But
Right.
give us some things for us desk people, what we can do to keep flexible, keep healthy.
Well, the key to almost everything is that movement actually is medicine. Blood flow moves around your body because there's a demand for it. So people that sit all day long with their legs dangling over the edge of the chair are getting less blood flow down to those muscles because they're not using them. Well, that means your body is not sending blood flow. It's not sending oxygen as much as is needed. So those muscles start to atrophy. So movement is key. So people say, well, should I get a standing desk? And I said, no, you should go from standing to sitting to moving. I, have filmed for my little book, one of the video clips, just a series of little simple motions. I call it I'm a little teacup, just tilting, sliding your hands down towards the floor. Well, I like to make it, you're going to remember me doing the little teacup dance. Just twisting gently, just bending backwards gently and bending forward every hour or so. But at the end of the day, it comes down to mindfulness. And that's a big part of the stress reduction. But the mindfulness that you're aware of how your body feels. Because it's the people that have their mind in 14 different directions all at the same time, and which one of us doesn't, that get injured because you realize, oh my gosh, I just sat there for 4 hours. I didn't drink any water and my back's all stiff. Well, you learn little strategies like, one of the best things I tell people to do when they're traveling is take a yoga block or a book, slide it underneath of your feet so that your knees are at the level of your hips or slightly above. Because most people tuck their feet underneath of the seat, their knees are pointed down, and that tilts your hips forward. So I like to, I could just tell you, put a block under there, but I think it's so much better if you understand, well, why am I putting that block under there? They come back from their trips and they say, that saved everything. I'm on that plane for 8 hours and my back didn't hurt because I did that one little thing. A yoga block costs $14. An old telephone book, if they still have things with some tape wrapped around it, costs you nothing. So there's simple strategies, but at the end of the day, it comes down to mindfulness and movement as medicine.
Yeah. And knowing that such strategies exist, and you're out there
That's the
educating
thing.
everyone about it and spreading the word, which is the half the battle is getting people to realize that there is such a thing. You don't have to live like this.
Yes, and it is much easier to avoid pain than it is to get rid of pain. So, preventive maintenance. I mean, I think it was Benjamin Franklin said that prevention is worth a pound of cure. It really, I think that's the opening of my first chapter, because that's not new knowledge, but how many of us really look at our lives as prevention? We look at our business that way. We try to forecast problems and make decisions ahead of those problems to avoid them. But I think we just don't have the knowledge about our bodies that we do about businesses. You go to business school, you get a degree, you learn, you have mentors, but who is your mentor for your body to help you age gracefully? And in my mind, that doesn't mean, ballet. That means that I can tie my own shoes. I can cut my toenails. I can squat down to the floor and play with my dog. And that's enjoyment for life for me.
Yeah.
And
In all
that's what I want for everyone.
seriousness, when you have some type of an injury or you become immobile is when the light bulb clicks on for a lot of people. It's like, no, I can't live like this. This is not my
Yeah.
future. And then you
Yeah.
turn it back around and say, I'm going to start taking care of myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm mobile and flexible and active just
Yeah.
because
Well,
I
the
don't want to be
problem,
bedridden or wheelchair ridden or
well, the
enabled
problem
to,
is, yeah, and to move.
yeah,
One of the problems is that people make that decision after something has happened. And
yeah,
then it's this big chunk of things you got to do. You got to go to physical therapy and learn these exercises and use ice packs. But if we can take things in small, manageable bites, just move better. If you just breathe better, move better, and drink fluids, you've already got half of the game. I generally don't really work on patients dramatically until they have increased their water intake for 10 days, because sometimes they never come back because that's all it was. Your discs are a sponge like thing with water fluid in it. When it becomes dehydrated, they shrink, they're half the size. Well, they're supposed to be distributing the body weight off of the nerve. So you start to hydrate those, they're doing their job and your back pain goes away. It can be as simple as that. By the time they get to me, it's not usually, but it's a big part of it. a real big part of it.
Yeah. And we'll just put the required disclaimer on. We're not giving medical
Oh,
advice. Talk to your doctor, but
absolutely.
common sense is common sense. A dehydrated disc is not going to operate as well as a hydrated disc.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, and people are always asking me about supplements and this and that and the other thing. I said, look, I'm not your pharmacist. I'm not your doctor. I can't tell you what to take or use because I don't know what it might interact with. And just because something's natural doesn't mean it's good for you. Arsenic is natural. It's not so great for you. So be wise. I always tell people if there's pain or a problem that goes on for more than 3 to 4 days, you should be checking in with your doctor, especially if it's sharp, stabby, or pinchy type pain. Know, listen to your body and know what it's saying. And that's one of the greatest lessons you can learn, honestly.
That's absolutely wonderful. And with that, I want to thank Bill Rodowski, our body guru, who is here to teach us about keeping ourselves healthy and active and using movement as medicine to make sure that you can take advantage of everything you want to do in your life without the limitations of pain or inflexibility. Thank you, Bill, so much for being our guest. And you can find what's wonderful about Bill is he is on a mission and he is committed to helping people. And with that, he's on all social media. We have him at www.body-guru.com. But Bill, why don't you tell us about your other social media and how people can find you and see these wonderful exercises and knowledge that you have out there?
Sure. I have a YouTube channel. I do a video podcast where people call in or write in actually about their problem. I do videos about explaining what that problem is and what you can do to treat it. And that YouTube channel is Body Guru Health Coach. The podcast is called Body Talk, but all of my videos are there. And they're all free, by the way. My yoga videos, everything on there. I'm on Instagram at Body Guru _ FTL for Florida. We got to give a shout out to Florida. And that Instagram is another place. I put tips and tricks, and I really am soliciting people to find out what is it you want to know more about. I like making these videos. I'm a bit of a ham. So I like making these videos and putting them out. Of course, my website, Libby already told you, body-guru.com. And then I'm on Facebook, and it's a group called We've Got Your Back. And it really is one for people that have questions about back pain. I enjoy this process of educating and learning, and because I'm learning from the people that I interact with just as much as they're learning from me. There is no one way. I do get loads out of this. So I'm becoming a better clinician by interacting with people, and I'm becoming a better person by being of service to people. So I'm in a win-win situation here. And I would like to say thank you to you, Libby, for putting this stuff out there and trying to disseminate information that people can use in actionable ways. Because I think if people have strategies that are actionable and simple, they're going to go out there and do stuff to be a success in their lives, just as they are in their business.
Well, you're welcome, Bill. And what you hit on right there, it's business and your body is a business too. So unless you have
Absolutely.
a plan for your body, you're not going to, any road leads to success if you don't have a plan, right? Or every road leads somewhere, not to success,
Right.
but somewhere. If you don't have a plan. But we
Treat your
preach the
body
same
like your
thing.
Right. Treat your body like you do your 401k. It's an investment. And you make
Absolutely.
the miracle of compound interest. It works for your body as well.
That's right. Okay. And with that, we will say thank you, keep healthy, and reach out to Bill. He's got the wealth of knowledge to help everybody.
Thank you. Namaste.